Hello students, in this video lecture I am going to explain you how you can solve this particular problem using mesh analysis, nodal analysis and without using the nodal and mesh analysis by using simply the KVL and KCL. So first of all, let us try this problem without using nodal or mesh analysis. So as you can see, in this particular circuit there are two current sources and two resistors. So I can redraw this particular circuit as if it contains a single source of current and a single resistor. So it will be R equivalent and this will be our I equivalent, we can say. So combination of these two current source, 120 ampere and 30 ampere. So since 120 ampere it is going upward, and let me put it as I1 and I2. So our I equivalent, it will be equals to I1 minus I2. I put I1 minus I2 because the direction of I1 and the direction of my equivalent current, I have taken it in the upward direction. So it is the reason that I1 and I equivalent, since they are in the same direction, so I take it as positive. Whereas I2, it is in opposite direction in comparison to the I equivalent, so I2 is taken as negative. So substituting the value, I will get 120 minus 30 and it will be equals to 90 ampere. So this current equivalent current source, it will be of 90 ampere. Now if I talk about this R equivalent, so R equivalent, it can be calculated as 1 into 30 into 1 upon 15 divided by 130 plus 1 upon 15. So it will be 1 divided by 30 into 15, 30 plus 15 upon 30 into 15. So since this and this will cancel out, so I will get R equivalent as 45 ohm. 30 plus 15, 45 ohm. So this is my R equivalent. So it will be this 45. So you can see now if I apply my KVL over here, so this current I1 over here in this resistor, I1 current is flowing, this 90 ampere current is flowing. So the voltage across R equivalent, it will be equals to 90 into 1 upon 45 equals to 2 volt. So it means the potential at this node, it will be 2 volt if this is considered as reference node, right? Potential difference or potential drop across R equivalent, it is 2 volt. Now in this diagram, in the main diagram, these two resistors R1 and R2, since R equivalent voltage is 2 volt, since it is 2 volt, so it means that same potential drop must be there across R1 as well as across R2. So it means that the potential drop across this R2, it will also be 2 volt, and across R1 it will also be 2 volt, right? And if it is 2 volt across R1 and R2, so the current through R1, it will be V upon R equals to 2 volt upon resistance is 1 upon 30. So it will be 60 ampere. So the current flowing through this R1, IR1, it is 60 ampere. And similarly I can determine the current flowing through IR2, and it will be IR2 will be equals to this 2 divided by 1 by 15, it will be 30 amperes. So 30 ampere. So the current through R1, it is 60 ampere, current through R2 is 30 ampere, voltage across R1 and R2 is 2 ampere, 2 volt. So this is our analysis using the first method, that is without using the nodal and the mesh analysis. So let me check if I am going to get the same values of IR1 and IR2, VR1 and VR2 as I obtained without using the nodal analysis and mesh analysis. So now let us try with a nodal analysis. So for a nodal analysis, our first step is to identify the nodes. Now since these two nodes, they are connected by a short circuit, so it will be considered as a single node. So let me assume this node as A and the potential over here, let it be VA. This node, they are also same because they are connected by a short circuit, and let it be a reference node. Let me assume the current direction in this node over here, and let it be I1. Current direction over here, let it be I2. Let this current be IS1 and IS2. Now if I apply KCL at node A, then you can see that at node A there are two currents or three currents, I1, I2 and IS1, which are coming out of the node. So I can write I1 plus I2 plus IS1 equals to, and this IS2 current, it is going towards node A, so it will be equals to IS2. Now over here, expression for I1, since I1 is a current from A to reference node, so it will be our VA minus V reference. V reference is 0, so VA upon resistance 130 plus I2. I2 is VA minus V reference. V reference is 0, so only VA upon resistance, that is 1 upon 15 plus IS1. IS1 is 30 equals to IS2 is 120. So solving this equation, I will get 30 VA plus 15 VA equals to 90. So 45 VA equals to 90, VA equals to 2 volt. Now you can see since VA is 2 volt, so the potential across R1, it will be VA minus V reference. Since V reference is 0, so I will get 2 minus 0 and it will be 2 volt only. Similarly, I can obtain the voltage across R2, and again it will be VA minus V reference, and hence it will also be 2 volt. Now if I want to determine the current I1 and I2, so I1, or I can write IR1, is equals to I1 equals to VA upon resistance. So VA is 2 upon 1 by 30, so it will be multiplied, so I will get 60 ampere. Similarly, IR2 will be equals to I2 equals to VA, resistance is 1 by 15, so 1 by 15 equals to 2 into 15 equals to 30 ampere. So now you can see the current I obtained using the nodal analysis, it is 60 ampere and 30 ampere, and same current I obtained without using nodal or mesh analysis. Similarly, you can see that the voltage that I obtained over here, it is 2 volt, and same voltage I obtained without using the nodal or mesh analysis. Let me start with a mesh analysis. So let us see if we are going to get the same result using the mesh analysis or not. So for the mesh analysis, our first step is to identify the loops and then to assume the current. So over here we have these 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3, and let me assume the current that is flowing through this loop, let it be I1, I2 and I3. Now from the first loop, I can see that I1 in this particular branch, in this leftmost branch, the current that is flowing, it is I1, and since we have a current source of 120 ampere, so it indicates that the value of I1 is 120 ampere, right? So without writing the KVL, I simply get the value of I1 as 120 ampere. Now if I try to write KVL for loop 2, then since there is a current source in the loop 2, so it is not possible to write a KVL. So in this case, since this current source, 30 ampere current source, it is a connection between loop 2 and loop 3. So we can create a super mesh by combining loop 2 and loop 3. So if I combine loop 2 and loop 3, and then if I write KVL for super mesh 2, 3, then it means that I need to write the KVL including this R1 resistance and R2 resistance. So if I assume, let me assume the current direction of this R1 be in the downward direction, means this. So if it is in the downward direction, polarity will be like this, plus and minus, and the current, effective current over here, it will be I1 minus I2, right? Similarly, if I take the current of R2 in the downward direction, then plus will be at the tail, minus will be at the arrow head, and the effective current over here, it will be I3. Now if I write a KVL equation for super mesh 2, 3, there are only two potential drops and we do not have any voltage source, so just we need to add these two voltage drops across R1 and R2. So if I take this potential drop across R1, then it will be I1 minus I2 into R1. Now since the polarity across R1, it is from minus to plus. If we are moving from in a clockwise direction, then first we encountered minus, then plus, and this polarity signs are different from the R2, because if we move from in a clockwise direction, so when we start from R1, the polarity change is from minus to plus, but when we come to R2, polarity changes from plus to minus. So it means that we need to put a minus sign, and then only we can write R2 is into I3 equals to 0. So this will be our KVL equation for a super mesh. So now after this, if we consider this current source of 30 ampere, so in this current source, you can see that the effective current that is flowing, it is I2 minus I3. I take I2 as positive because the current direction of I2 and 30 ampere, they are in the same direction. Okay, whereas current source direction 30 ampere direction is opposite to I3. So I take I3 as negative, so that the direction of I3 will also become minus I3 direction will be same as the direction of the 30 ampere. So it means that 30 ampere current is equals to I2 minus I3, because I2 minus I3 is the current that is flowing through this 30 ampere branch. Now solving equation 1, I will get I1 is 120 minus I2. From this equation, we can put the value of I2 as 30 plus I3. So it will be 30 plus I3. And then the value of the resistance. R1 is 1 by 30. So 1 by 30. Minus R2. R2 is 1 by 15 into R into I3. So I3 is unknown to us, so I put it as this. Now you can see in this particular equation we just have only one unknown, that is I3. So solving this equation, I will get 90 minus I3 upon 30 minus I3 upon 15 equals to 0. So 90 minus I3 minus 2I3 equals to 0. I3 is equals to 90 divided by 3 equals to 30 ampere. So our I3 is equals to 30 ampere. And from here, substituting this value in this equation, second equation, we get 30 plus 30 equals to 60 ampere. So the value of I2 is 60 ampere. Now I2 is this I3, it is 30, I3 is 30, I2 is 60 ampere, right? So the current through R1, it is I1 minus I2. I1 is this 120, I2 is 60, so I get 60 ampere. IR2, current through this R2 resistor, it is I3, so the current through resistor 2, it is 30 ampere. VR1, it is IR1 into R1, so IR1 is 60, R1 is 1 upon this, 1 upon 130, so I get 2 volt. VR2 is equals to IR2 into R2, IR2 is 30 ampere into R2 is 1 upon 15, so I get 2 volt. So you can see again I got the same value for the currents as well as for the voltage. So it proves that we can use any method to solve our circuit and we are going to get the same result with any method that we are going to use. So with this I end this video. If you have any doubt, you can put your doubts in the comment box and do subscribe my channel. Thank you.